What's up guys, I'm just a gamer and I'm back with another video, and yeah, today I'm going to be making or pre-making my Rook for Dragon Age the Veilguard. And I know I'm a bit early. I know it's been rumored or stated that they're going to release the character creator so people can try it out. I think Dragon's Dogma and the Saints Row remake, both of them did this. They released the character creator so people can like check it out and have their character already made for when the full game releases. So again, I could be wrong about that, but in general, I just want to start getting the details out and start pre-planning my character, my Rook. So yeah, let's just jump into it. Alright, the first thing to get out of the way is between male or female, and I tend to go male on my first playthrough most of the time because of, you know, that's just my preference. Sorry if that upsets anybody, but yeah, I just always tend to go male first. So overall, I'm not sure race-wise what I'm going to go with. But to be honest, more often than not, I tend to go human male my first route just because of something we'll get into later probably with companions. But I usually tend to go with a male human my first round most of the time. I know that's basic bitch, but that's just something I like to do just because it's something I gravitate towards when it comes to companions, which again I will get into it later on. But yeah, so first things first is I will probably be going male first on my first playthrough. So yeah, just getting that out of the way, we're gonna go male first. Next up, let's talk about factions, which is basically our backgrounds. And apologies, I know I'm covering up the Antivan Crows symbol there, but it's fine. You know what it looks like. Anyway, but yeah, so this is interesting, and this actually kind of informs what I might be doing with my class, because each of these apparently, and again, I'm not sure how reliable this information is, but apparently each faction gives bonuses to certain classes. So, for example, the Antivan Crows, they give specializations or help to Duelist and Spellblade. And then Grey Wardens, they actually help with Champion and Warriors. Lords of Fortune, they actually give you quite a few things. They give you additional reputation with them, increased damage to mercenaries, and then you can perform takedowns on enemies with slightly less effort. So that's interesting with Lords of Fortune. And then class-wise, they're more Saboteur and Slayer, associated specializations. Mournwatch is for Deathcaller and Reaper, and Shadow Dragons are for the Invoker. And lastly, Veil Jumpers are for the Veil Ranger. So yeah, each of these factions actually gives you certain bonuses towards whatever specialization you're going to use. And that being said, I guess I'm going to be leaning towards, Antivan Crows, just because we'll get into classes in a minute. But yeah, they're the ones that really speak to me just because of, again, the class I'm going to more than likely choose. And in fact, let's just get into that. Let's just get into classes. I have always played Rogue my first playthrough in every Dragon Age game. Origins, Dragon Age 2, and Inquisition, I've always played Rogue first. And especially Dragon Age 2, because Dragon Age 2, like, the Rogue was just really good in that game. Like, super fun, especially all, like, the abilities and moves you get. And I believe the same with Inquisition. It was just, like, my playstyle, I went the assassin route, so I basically spec'd everything for, like, critical hit damage. And just to be clear, I'm not, like, a specialist that I know every perfect passive and percentile. I just built it the way I thought it was, it was fun, and the way, what I thought was good. And by the end, like, I would have, bull aggro, and then on the sides, I'd be flanking, building up my critical hits with, like, the attacks, and then I would just do assassinate to do huge chunks of burst damage. And yeah, I just preferred that playstyle in Inquisition. It was really fun for me. and it again really involved the strategic gameplay of, you know, having one tank take attention, you know, other people supporting, and me doing like burst damage. And yeah, I'm just a little bummed of the specializations we have here for Rogue. I mean, it's Duelist, Saboteur, and Veil Ranger. And Veil Ranger is like the one new class. Duelist has been in the previous games, and so has Saboteur. And I know I've seen some crazy builds with Saboteur and Inquisition where people just melted bosses. It was crazy. And yeah, I'm a little, nothing really speaks to me here. I do see that in between Duelist and Veil Ranger, they have Burst, which I'm assuming is more like the assassin type playstyle, but I don't like that. I don't know if that means they have assassin type moves too there. And yeah, there's nothing really here that is just like really speaking to me. I mean, I guess if I had to choose, I would go Duelist, just because as much as I saw people like doing crazy stuff with Saboteur in Inquisition, it was just not really my style. And I have tried bow and arrow, an Inquisitor bow and arrow style gameplay or play style for Inquisition, and it was fine, but I just wasn't for me. I didn't find it fun. So Veil Ranger is like not really my thing either. So I guess I would just gravitate towards Duelist and maybe towards the Burst. But at the same time, it's just like, man, I wish they had the assassin stuff there. Like, you know, again, it could still be there, but it's just like, until I get my hands on it to know for sure, it's just like, there's nothing really here that speaks to me about Rogue. Which brings us to Mage. And I have played Mage in Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition. And while I did enjoy it, for me, Mage just was really hard. Just because, again, I'm not really proficient in like, you know, picking what traits and abilities to like really maximize what you can do with a mage. I just, me personally, I really didn't know. I mean, obviously, if I looked online, I probably could have done something a little bit better, but I just found it really hard for me as I played the game. But again, I did have fun with Mage, but again, similar to Rogue, there's nothing really here that calls to me between these three specializations, Deathcaller, Invoker, and Spellblade. I think in Inquisition, I was mostly or leaned more towards the Knight Enchanter, and they say Spellblade is the closest to that from Inquisition. So maybe if I play Mage, I'll go Spellblade. But at the same time, I'm just like, after watching that gameplay from IGN, I'm just like, man, that seems really hard. I already had a hard time with Mage in Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition, so it'll be even harder, I feel like, for me in Veilguard. So again, like, I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure about this one, because again, this might be just a little too hard for me. It might be just a little too hard for me. Lastly, we have Warrior, which I have actually never played in Dragon... No, that's not true. I believe in Dragon Age Origins, I did play Warrior, and I went the two-hand route. I could be mistaken. I could be misremembering, so apologies. But yeah, I don't think I ever played Warrior in Dragon Age 2, and I did not play Warrior in Inquisition. So I honestly have really no grasp on what Warrior can do. I know from past comments that Warrior was very like the most boring class, because they didn't have really a lot of abilities and stuff to use. Again, that's hearsay. That's from I remember people saying that Warrior was just very one note. They didn't really have much to do. So yeah, but of the gameplay we've seen, I think Warrior is the second best. Rogue looked the best, Warrior, and then Mage of the gameplay we've seen. Obviously, people are going to be better and worse. I'm not trying to criticize, just because of somebody's play style. I'm not attacking anybody, but I'm just saying, so far of the gameplay we've seen, Rogue looks best, then Warrior, then Mage. So yeah, I'm not really sure about anything when it comes to Warrior. We saw Champion, that's the gameplay we saw, and it looked fine. It was looked defensive heavy with like the defensive abilities and spells. I think they said, was it Slayer is the two-handed weapon build or class, that it focuses on that. and I'm not really sure about Reaper. But in general, I really don't know much or anything about Warrior. So realistically, I think I'm gonna stick with my tried and true Rogue, just because it's what I'm most familiar with and what I know. I guess I'll be going the duelist route, like with more of it going into the burst window or the burst section of the skill tree. I mean, again, we can't know for sure, or I won't know for sure until I get the game and play it. But as it stands, it looks like it's going to be a male human Rook with a rogue leaning towards duelist and burst heavy skills. That's what we got so far. Lastly, let's talk companions, where from the get-go, the two companions that really captured my interest from the get-go were Harding and Tosh. And yeah, I just really like their vibe, and I think Harding looks really good. And Tosh, there are times and like certain pictures and screenshots where she looks good, and there are others where she is just, ooh, girl, that is just not a good angle for you. That is just really rough. I'm sorry, but she looks a bit rough in some angles. But regardless, point is, these are the two that really stood out to me when it comes to like potential people I want to romance. And I tend to gravitate towards characters that are more well, that's part of the reason why I said earlier why I picked a male human character, is because I like odd pairings. I like when a human male gets to know and falls in love with a more fantastical female, another worldly female. That's just something I prefer, something I enjoy. I mean, for those of you who don't know, that's basically what my book is. It's available now on Amazon and Google Play bookstores, so check it out if you want to. But yeah, it's just I enjoy when, a male character interacts and falls in love with a fantastical female character. But that's just me. But yeah, those are the two that really captured my interest the most. I know there's Balara, but yeah, again, she just didn't capture my interest. I don't know. I just didn't really dig her vibe. Didn't really speak to me. And I know there's Nave as well, and she's fine. I guess she is interesting, but again, I just tend to go towards a more, the fantastical females, not just straight up human females. I mean, that's subject to change. Maybe I find her to be more interesting the other two, and things happen. Things change. But as it stands, I'm leaning more towards Harding and Tosh. And it's funnily enough, it looks like so far, trailer-wise, Nave and Davrin look like the two front-running romances that they've shown off. They haven't really shown off anybody else that I can think of. It's been mostly those two. They're like the headliners for respective, romances. So yeah, but for me, it's between Harding and Tosh. Okay, romance aside, when it comes to party makeup, if I am going to be the rogue in the group, I like to have a balanced team. So between tanks, it's Tosh and Davrin. And if I'm going to be romancing Tosh, I'm going to be leaning towards taking her with me regardless, more often than not. Which brings me to the question of, it's funny because, I'm assuming Battlecry here for Davrin is his taunt, and that for Tosh, it's Dragon's Roar. And it's funny that, they really haven't shown... That's something they could have shown off in the Warrior gameplay, and... Well, they haven't shown Tosh gameplay at all. But it's just something that I think they maybe should have shown off. Because, again, maybe because in the Warrior gameplay, since you were a Warrior, you were a bit tankier and you could, maneuver more. Because it didn't really look like Davrin taunted much of anything. But yeah, again, that's something that they could show off that differentiates the characters. And that they could show that, hey, the characters aren't just for priming and detonating combos. They do stuff. And that's something they could have shown off and they haven't, which I'm just that's a missed opportunity here for me. But yeah, so tank-wise, I'm guessing I'm going more towards Tosh. And then again, if I'm playing Rogue, I like to have a mage to balance things out. And I know Harding has magical abilities, but they really haven't, said or shown what they're gonna be. And Balara as well. She's mostly a Veil Ranger, more than anything than mage. So the real true mages are, from what I can see, Emmerich and Knave. And I'm leaning more towards Knave because from the gameplay we've seen for her, she has a lot more control options. While Emmerich, he looks to be more of a damage dealer, like, Walking Bomb and Necromancer and all that stuff. So I'm leaning more towards Knave for crowd control and just area control in general. So as it stands, I think Tosh and Knave are going to make up my main team, or my most constant team. I know they've said that they're going to, not everyone's going to be available always. They're going to be out doing their own things and stuff like that, so they're going to have to change things up, which is fine. I will obviously try out other characters, but my main team, it looks like my main companions will be Tosh and Knave with, again, who knows, maybe Harding. Who knows? And quick side note, I just think it's weird that they're, in interviews and stuff, they're constantly bringing this up of where they want you to try different try different companions out, mix and match, try different pairings, things like that. They're constantly reinforcing this narrative of they want you to get to know all these companions by mixing and matching them and trying them out. But at the same time, in gameplay, they give you the ability to use everyone's environmental ability, which is, I think, a missed opportunity, because it could have been oh, you need this character to open this path or do this thing. That would have been a nice thing of well, let me bring her along, and that could have been a really nice way of transition of hey, let's keep going, see how she plays, get to know her gameplay style, stuff like that. But no, you can just use their environmental ability without them and keep whatever team you want. So it's just this weird contrast of them saying, hey, we want you to try different characters out, but when it comes to gameplay, they give you the ability to, just not ignore that and just bring whoever you want. It's just a little weird. I just feel it's a missed opportunity gameplay wise to really, get you to change it up, bring different people. Just a little weird. And another side note, and this is just me, a little dumb complaint that I have. It's really nothing major. I'm hesitating in saying it because it's really dumb. But honestly, in this right here, these companion pictures right here, this artwork, this should have been the companion selection screen. This is what it should have been. And because I believe Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition, they had these marvelous artworks when you had to go pick your characters. They had these artworks that were beautiful, and they were the focus of your attention when you're picking your characters. And same thing here. These are beautiful artworks. And then they ruined it by placing hero shooter character models on the top of the screen, capturing your eye. It was it's the perfect example of less would have been more. Because these pictures, these arts, this companion art, they're so good and they're so beautiful that they could have just been the companion screen alone. And they did not need to add the hero shooter character models on top. It's so obvious that this was supposed to be a live service type game with some of the art decisions and UI decisions they've made. Because again, they should have stuck to what Inquisition and Dragon Age 2 did, with just having these beautiful artworks on the companion screen, and you just go, and you pick them through that. And it would have been beautiful and nice, in my opinion. It's just the Overwatch style characters on top. It was a little too much, and I think this would have been a lot more cleaner and beautiful. But yeah, it's stupid little nitpick. It's dumb. It's not even anything. It's just a little thing that I just thought. It was just, this would have been really beautiful, and less would have been more. Less would have been a lot more. Alright guys, that is my Rook so far. Again, things can change. Actually, if you have any suggestion, comments, leave it in the comments down below. Tell me, you know, something maybe I should try. Give me info. I would love to hear from you guys. I would love to know what you guys think. I know basically I'm very basic character at this moment, but that's how I have it so far. So again, any feedback or any changes you think I should make, let me know in the comments down below. I would really appreciate it. But that's my character. That's going to be my Rook so far as it stands. Again, I could be wrong about the character creator. Again, I'm pretty sure the rumor is they're going to release it, or maybe they have said they are going to release it. And we'll maybe check that out when that releases. And yeah, that's it so far. And then real quick note, I will be playing Inquisition, Dragon Age Inquisition soon. More than likely after my Black Myth Wukong playthrough, and I think Pucky Squire as well. But I will be starting Inquisition soon. If that's something you guys would want to see here, let me know in the comments down below, or if I should just leave it on the stream and not, you know, just stream it and not, you know, it's not something you want to see on the channel. Let me know in the comments down below, or if that's something you actually do want to see. And more than likely I'll be doing it on Twitch, but if you guys have a preference for me to do it on YouTube, again, let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, I will be playing Inquisition again before Veilguard comes out, and hopefully we'll be able to get through all of it. And who knows, maybe you can help me make a character for that game. But yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like or comment down below. I appreciate any and all feedback. Subscribe. I'm streaming on Twitch, so please consider following me there at twitch.tv/JustAGamerInc, all together in word, or you can click the link below. But again, let me know if you have any comments on my Rook, anything I should change, or any suggestions you have. And same thing with Inquisition, if it's something you want to see on this channel or, you know, on stream. And if so, which streaming service would you like me to put, you know, try it on? Would you want me to on Twitch like usual, or on YouTube? Again, let me know in the comments down below. I would really love your feedback. But regardless, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care and have a good game.